Okay, guys, Cartoon Adventure Boy 64 is here, and I'm gonna tell you something that I feel like people do not know about, honestly. And that is, I love licensed games. Not just Battle for Bikini Bottom, I actually have a top 16 favorite childhood games overall, and I'll discuss them each in this video right now, basically. So I'll be talking about the best games, my favorite childhood games because I actually remember playing these ones the most vaguely among any game ever. And I remember playing these games like a lot as a kid, honestly. They were my favorite childhood games ever made. And I wish that all of them got remakes, honestly. I mean, sure, Battle for Bikini Bottom got remade, but I feel like that other licensed games should have been remade by other companies, honestly. Because I feel like these games, like, really showed me licensed games are not always trash, honestly. Because as a kid, I thought licensed games are not always, like, the best games ever. Until one fateful day in 2015, my dad decided throughout 2015, my dad decided to buy me a lot of games throughout the whole year. I got a total of 16 games in the whole year because I got it for different consoles and I got to have a lot of different consoles back then. And I will say that overall, that my these games might be a little. I may be a little biased towards these games because I think these are the best licensed games ever. Well, at least until the new ones came out. But I say these ones are my childhood games though. These were the ones I played the most of as a kid, honestly, because they were just fun games that were really fun. They had a lot of fun visuals, a lot of fun level design, a lot of fun gameplay wise, voice acting wise, element feel like elements from the show wise. Like everything about these games feel like they're special. And I think that this video might show like some why these games are just so good in my opinion. So without further ado, let's talk about my top 16 childhood games ever made. Now let's get started with number one. Sorry, not no, let's not, no. I don't want to get to number one yet. I want to get to the. Let's get into number 16 though. Number 16. Number 16 is Gravity Falls: Legend of the Elements. This was released on the 3DS, and you're probably wondering what's this game all about. So basically, this game is a 2D side-scrolling platformer, and it has the same art style as Rayman Origins and Rayman Legends. But this one was on 3DS, unlike the other two which were on consoles and 3DS. This game is basically basically Metrovania. And I think this is a better attempt at being a Metrovania than some of the Spud GBA games, like Revenge of the Flying Dojo GBA, which I still like that one, but I feel like this one does a better job at being Metroidvania. And I think this game has a lot of like elements that really makes it a good game, honestly, in my opinion. Like I said, I grew up with these 16 games were the ones I grew up the most playing, honestly. So I may be a little biased towards them, even though I think new games may have taken over those spots overall. But some of them are still not changed, though, honestly. But I think this is overall. This is overall. I think this game has just elements of. This one has like a lot of elements from the show itself, and it's basically original story too. I think each of these games have something that makes them unique from the shows they're based on, is that they're different from the actual show, and they also aren't tie-ins to episodes or something that are they are based on the show, but they're not tie-ins to episodes. They're fully original games. They're not tie-ins to episodes like the Spundum games or any other or Danny Phantom games or the Jimmy Neutron. Oh, I forgot Jimmy Neutron is on the list, but that one is based. That's the only exception though. Maybe the Ben 10 game is also kind of based on an episode. I'm pretty sure it's probably based on an episode, but I don't know. I'm not sure. Maybe it is original actually. I'm just probably just glossing over it. So, Gravity Falls: The Legend of uh go no grown or no not grown gnome no gnome elements is overall a fun game that I think I recommend playing on 3DS overall. I think it's a fun game that has a lot of good elements. I do think the game is overall fun. I think you should definitely play it on 3DS. And I think the game is overall a really fun game. I don't own it anymore because I actually got this game as I got it in 2015, late 2015, and I don't have it anymore because I don't have it in my collection anymore. But because I moved down to Florida. But rest assured, this game was magical. Definitely one of Disney's best games ever made, right next to Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimensions, which is also on the list actually. If you guys wondering, actually, I think both the DS version and the console game are real. Sorry, that's not the game. Wrong game. I think both the console game and the DS game are really good. I think both the DS game and the Wii game are really good, but I think I prefer the Wii game a little bit more. But that's just me. That's just me, honestly. Overall, I think I overall think that this game. I overall think this Gravity Falls game is really good. It's definitely one of Disney's best games ever. Next to Toy Story 3 and the Phineas and Ferb game I just mentioned, Across the Second Dimension. So overall, I enjoy this game. I overall enjoy this game. I have no problems with it. Maybe I guess the controls could be a little bit better, and maybe it could have been short. Maybe it could have been longer a little bit, like Battle for Bikini Bottom does. But I think overall, maybe this game would warrant a remake. Honestly, considering this one has a lot of things that could have been remade. Honestly, and if the content was, I heard there was. I think there is some. I feel like this game was a little rushed. So I feel like this game could have had some more longer levels or longer levels overall stages, and have more locations from the show overall. The gas station from the abandoned gas station from one of the episodes in the show. The one with the smile dips. You know what I mean. You know what I mean, right? That episode. Um, and there could have been more. I think there could have been more that was based on. I feel like they could have referenced more episodes in the show, such as the gas station episode. Like I said before, and could have had a boss battle between that ghost in the episode from the episode, or that whatever the villain was in the episode. I believe. I think that was the one I remember watching the most out of Gravity Falls. I think this was the episode I watched the most of, honestly, which is kind of crazy to think about. Like that one was just the most nostalgia one to me. I wish they had. I wish that was a level in this game. Honestly, I think another thing I would have wished this game is 3D. It was 3D, like a 3D platformer instead of a 2D side scroller. I mean, also I wish this was on console, considering this game is exclusive on 3DS, which I find that kind of disappointing. Considering I think this would have worked better if it was a console game, because maybe they could have had two different versions like they used to. Honestly, or at least three versions at least at the max. You could have had the console game be 3D platforming, the 3DS version be 2D side scrolling, and the PC version be a point and click adventure game, similar to Battle from Bikini Bottom, basically. It would have been a higher tier if it was a console game. If it had console releases, but as it is, it's still pretty great though. 10 out of 10, really. These 10 out of 10 games are really good, honestly. Let's move on. Next up is the Adventure Time game. Now, Adventure Time is a very interesting specimen, considering I really like Adventure Time. Well, I'm actually starting to like it now. Sure, it ended since 2018, but I think out of the show, I think the first three seasons are golden, honestly, and after that, I feel like it was downgrade. I know that sounds like I'm being a little. I know the first five seasons are really good seasons, but I think season 6 through 8 were not very good, and I think season 9 and 10 were decent, honestly. But anyway, enough with the show. I think this game perfectly tries to be like the show, honestly, and I think out of the Adventure Time video games, this is obviously the best one. Yes, it's better than Finn and Jake's investigations for PS4. Which I know that's a high bar. I know that's a very high bar to reach because I know people love that game, but I think this one is more better, honestly. I think this game is Adventure Time: The Secrets of the Nameless Kingdom, and I think this game is fully original too, as well, like the Gravity Fall game. And overall, I think this is a pretty good game as well. It has a lot of Metroidvania, not Metroidvania. It has a lot of Zelda elements that are in there. It feels like a Zelda game in my opinion, but with Adventure Time elements. And overall, I do enjoy this game as well as much as the Gravity Falls game. The only downside I do have with this game is that the game is a little too short in my opinion. Like I said, we have this is why we have Battle from Bikini Bottom for a reason. But if you're a fan of Adventure Time, I think this game is a perfect example of how to do a Adventure Time video game, because the other ones were not very good in my opinion. Well, except for that Finn and Drake investigations game. That one is pre-fiction. It's probably the best PC game. Right next to, it's probably the best point and click game compared to just like the Spawn PC games. Which I feel like that's kind of what they were trying to do, honestly. Trying to be like those Spun games, honestly. The PC games, the point and click games, like Lightsaber Pants PC, the movie game PC, and probably a Play of the Month PC. If you guys know what I mean. Anyways, let's move on. Next up is actually based on another show I really like, and I really like. I've been watching more of since 2020. That is Foxter's Home for Imaginary Friends. Man, the game is called Foxter's Home for Imaginary Friends Invasion Imaginary Invaders. This game is a 3D platformer, and I will say, as a 3D platformer, I think this game is great. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, honestly. I heard some people do not like this game because it's like Mario 64 personally, but honestly, I don't mind that because I think this game does a good job at being like Mario 64. It has a lot of cool elements that were based on the show. It has a lot of like references to the show. It feels like the Battle for Bikini Bottom of Foxter's Home for Imaginary Friends for me. And I think this game overall is like a perfect example of how to do a game based on the show. Too bad that this show only had 2 video games, because I think this one has a lot of cool elements. And I will say this game is pretty fun. Oh, this is based on the episode, Make It, Believe It or Not. Make Believe or Not from season 4. And basically you had to rescue, Maddie, the, you know, Mary Foxter. Is that what she called? I'm not sure. And basically, who's been kidnapped by the space nut boogers. To do this, he must the player must earn the cooperation of different characters from the television show and platforming tasks in order to gain their help. It also has collectibles where it has eggs laid by Coco, which contain Coco cards. Coco cards allow players to view pictures that they collect in the scrapbook. The gameplay is in 3D basically. It's a 3D platformer basically. I will say, as a game, also I think the plot is original of this game, honestly. Well, the gameplay is pretty much based on the episode, Make Believe It or Not. So, I think this game is overall really good in my opinion. I think this game has a lot of cool elements that makes it a really good game. And I think this is overall my favorite Fox's Home for Imaginary Friends video game, and one of my favorite Cartoon Network's games in general. Overall, I'll give it a 10 out of 10. Definitely a good game. And here's some game. Can't seem to see it, huh? See, this is what it looks like. It basically looks like this. It looks pretty good in my opinion, honestly. Looks a really good game. Hope you guys play it yourself. Okay, so here's the next game though. The next game is going to be very interesting as well, because this is next is a Powerpuff Girls game, and I'm pretty sure not many people actually like this game, honestly. Yeah, for some reason, people do not like this game. And so is the PS1 game, actually. The PS1 game. And I have to be honest, I don't actually hate them. I think they're actually pretty good, in my opinion. Honestly, I think people are just way too harsh about these games, honestly. They're not as bad as people say they are. I feel like people are too harsh about this game, honestly. And I feel like people should give it more of a chance overall. I feel like people should give this one more of a shot, honestly, if I'm being honest. Because I think people, like I said, I think critics were really too harsh about this game, honestly. I think this game is really good, in my opinion. And I especially love the graphics of this game, honestly. Like, look at this. This look, this looks like a typical licensed game, honestly. And I think the graphics looks really good, in my opinion. Oh, crap. Sorry. I accidentally was tapping on. Trying to let it see so much. Can't seem to get it to see too much. Please focus. Here's what the gameplay looks like. So basically, this game is basically a 3D beat 'em up platformer. And I will say, as a 3D beat 'em up platformer, it completely rocks, in my opinion. This is exactly what I mean by these games are not really as bad as people say they are. I feel like I can find bright spots in these games that really deserve more praise, in my opinion. I think this game is really fun, in my opinion, honestly. Like, it has a lot of cool graphics. I love the gameplay of it. I think the gameplay is really good. There's a lot of cool enemies. There's a lot of cool, like, elements. You have a lot of cool, like, stuff like that. Let me show you what it looks. So, there's no. This game is really short, though. I will say that for sure. This game is really short in gameplay, honestly. I will say this game is really short, though. I will say that for sure, because I think this game could be a little bit longer. How much is long is the game? It's only like 3 levels in this total game, honestly. Which is crazy to think about. Like, this game is really short. But honestly, I don't mind this game. I really like it, honestly. It's a really fun game that has a lot of cool elements. I think the game is really fun. And overall, I think it's the best Powerpuff Girls game out there. Way better than the GBA games, honestly. Or the, other games overall. So, yeah, I think this game is overall fun. Just overall enjoy the gameplay of this one, honestly. Sure, it's a little repetitive at some points, but I think this game is really good in my opinion. So, overall, I give it a 10 out of 10. Alright, so that's another game down. There's more to go. Now, let's move on to the next one. Next up is Kim Possible What's the Switch? And this is only exclusive for the PS2, considering I've noticed a pattern with these games that most of the console games are mostly on like PS or PlayStation or Xbox or Nintendo consoles. but I mostly played the ones that were basically PS2 or GameCube or Wii games basically, and with some handheld games in here and there. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention the Venture game I played on Xbox 360 though. That's the only one. That's the only exception. But anyway, I think that the Kim Possible game is probably the best Kim Possible game out there. Honestly, it has a lot of fun level design. I like the gameplay of it. I think the gameplay is really fun. It has a lot of cool elements in there. I think the gameplay has a lot of fun elements. I overall enjoy the game as it is, and I think this game is overall fun. Nothing to really write home about, honestly. Like I said, good graphics, good gameplay, got good 3D platforming, good elements. Got it has everything that I love about a 3D platformer overall. Sure, some of these games were different gameplays, and most of them are not like very different gameplay wise. But I think that mostly I love 3D platformers because they're more important to me than anything, honestly, when it comes to video games. Because they're just really fun. I prefer same box linear or even widely linear games because I think they're just fun to play through. With some exceptions like the Sonic games overall, like those games are just fun to play through. So yeah, I think Kim Possible like is a good game. I think this Kim Possible game is really good. It has everything I said about the other games, and I overall enjoyed this game honestly. Let's just move on to the next entry. Next entry is actually talking about. This is actually one I actually owned in my collection recently, or at least a few years ago. Jimmy Neutron Attack of the Twonkies. And I will say, this game is really fun, honestly. So this is the Jimmy Neutron Attack of the Twonkies game. This is actually this is the only game out of the exception of some of the Monster High game that I actually think that is based on an episode of the show or a TV movie or special of the franchise. And I think this one is really good in my opinion. Honestly, it's like a Luigi's Mansion but in Jimmy Neutron. And I think this game is overall really good. Honestly, it might be my favorite Jimmy Neutron game ever. Has a lot of cool elements. It has everything that is funny about the show. It's the writing of the show, the humor of the show. It has everything that is a Jimmy Neutron game to the core. And I think this game is overall the best Jimmy Neutron game for being just exactly like the show, honestly. And I think it's actually just as good as the episode, honestly, because I think most of the TV movies and one special is probably my favorite Jimmy Neutron games ever. Not games, episodes ever, honestly. And I overall enjoy this game, honestly. I think it's fun, creative, has a lot of cool elements, and I think this game is overall fun. That's the most important games about for me is fun. If you can't make a game fun, then you can't make video games. Honestly, you shouldn't be making video games. This applies to games like this complies to like games that I just don't like Planes Robotic Revenge or Hero Pants or even some of the crappy outright games. But overall, I think that this game is really fun though, and this was published by THQ Nordic, which not THQ Nordic, THQ, who've done a lot of Splendid games over the years and some other games in general. So this is why I think they're their best game publisher ever. Honestly, THQ Nordic may be the second best, but I think the original THQ is just really good in my opinion. So that's another game to go. What's next? Number 10. I forgot to say number 11 for that one. Next up is number 10. Ben 10 Protector of Earth. This game is a really fun Wii game, honestly. It's just a good old 3D platformer, honestly. And I think it holds up really well, honestly, in my opinion. Sure, I don't have a copy of the game anymore. Like I said, I have I have my Gigi's house, but honestly, this game is really fun. I have a lot of enjoyment with this game. I had a lot of I have a lot of memories with this game. I overall like the gameplay, the story, this show. I like the show itself, but I think the video games might be better than the actual show itself. Honestly, in my opinion, but I think the show is still peaking myself, in my opinion. Overall, I think this game is a really good Ben 10 game, and probably the best one out there. Honestly, most of the Ben 10 games are really good in my opinion. Honestly, And I think there's one game that kind of beats out every other Ben 10 game, and I think it's one of the reboot ones. But we'll get there when I talk about my favorite new games so far. But anyway, I think this game is overall good. I have not much to really say about it because I think that this game has really been talked to death about. And I think this game is overall the battle for Bikini Bottom for the Ben 10 series. Just a fun, charming 3D platformer that just wants to be like the show, honestly. Just like everything else on this list. And I think this is overall 10 out of 10, like the other games. Really good game. Now let's get into another game I actually own in this collection overall. And this is one I actually own, I actually still own in my collection. Which is Ed, Edd and Eddy, The Miss Ed Adventures. And let me tell you, this game is a really good game, honestly. This is my second copy of the game, since my old copy broke, but is at my Gigi's house. But I overall think this game is really fun, in my opinion. It has a lot of cool elements. I beat the game I beat the game a little bit. I had played a little bit this game, but from gameplay I've seen, I think this game is overall charming, fun, and a good 3D platformer. This is basically the Battle for Bikini Bottom for the Ed and Eddy series. And I think this game has a lot of charm, element, writing, and just comedy to back itself. I think the show is really good, but I think the video game is really good too. Overall, I want to see a sequel to this game because I think this game has a lot of potential to have a sequel to it, or a remake. Honestly, like, come on, give this game a Battle for Bikini Bottom treatment. It's not hard. It's not hard. Wonder Bros games. You can still do Cartoon Network games. But considering we're not gonna get that, I guess I'll accept that we'll never get another console game for Ed and Eddy ever again. Or a Gumball game, honestly. I feel like Gumball could also benefit from getting a video game, but I doubt it, honestly, considering video games for licensed games are kind of dying down since 2017, in my opinion. Because I think they used to be everywhere from 2000 from the 90s to 2017, personally. And I think 2018 onwards is kind of where I think the decline of licensed games were kind of like dying down for me. I think the licensed games peaked around 2008, not 2008, 2003 to 2017, to be honest, if I'm being honest. So yeah, and then I think decline was 2018 onwards. So yeah, I think this overall is a good game, and I really recommend playing it if you own a GameCube or a Wii. Honestly, you can play it also on the Wii, so that's a bonus right there. And overall, I want to see a sequel to this game because I think two sequels could make this game more popular. Honestly, I had ideas of sequels that were basically the Cosmic Shake and Titans of the Tide for the Ed and Eddy series, but I don't think that Wonder Bros games will ever accept them, or Cartoon Network in general. So yeah, overall, I enjoyed this game. Honestly, it's a really fun 3D platformer. If you're a fan of Ed and Eddy, I really recommend this game to you. It's a really good game. Okay, what's next? Number 8. Number 8. And this is actually a Phineas and Ferb game. Number 8 is Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension. Y'all knew this was coming because this one is my favorite Phineas and Ferb game. It's better than the DS game or even any of the Phineas and Ferb DS games, or even Quest for Cool Stuff either. Honestly, I think this one has the best charm, writing, and overall story out of all the games in general. This one feels like a Phineas and Ferb video game at its core, and I think this one explains the story pretty well. Sure, it's not really a beat for beat tie-in to the actual movie, but I think this game is really good in my opinion, honestly. I think this might be my favorite third-person shooter out there, honestly. And it's much better than the absolute abomination that was SpongeBob Plankton's Robotic Revenge for Wii and Wii U. I'm just saying that because I think mostly third-person shooters for me, when it comes to like established franchises, usually suck hard, such as Sonic Boom or even Plankton's Robotic Revenge and SpongeBob Hero Pants. because, like I said, I think this one is overall the best. This might be the best licensed third-person shooter out there. It's better than Planes Robotic Revenge or Hero Pants, or even heck, it's better than Ratchet and Clank All for One, honestly. And I feel like this game is also kind of like a Skylanders game kind of thing, which I think is cool. But I think that this game overall, I think Phineas and Ferb Across the Second Dimension is a fun game for Wii, and I recommend playing it if you're a fan of Phineas and Ferb overall. Now, okay, so next up, next number 7 is another game that I actually remember playing a lot of actually, and it's a Fairy Odd Parents game. It's not breaking the rules because I think I love breaking the rules, but I think this one is more better than that one. Okay, so what the game is actually. The game is called Shadow Showdown, and this game is basically a 3D linear platformer, puzzle platformer. And unfortunately, it's not as open as Breaking the Rules, in my opinion, honestly. Which is kind of sad, because I think this one could have had the same gameplay as Breaking the Rules overall. And it has less memorable sounds, too, as well. What makes this one a little bit lower than my top 6 is because I think this one has a few problems in it. Just like every entry on this list, is that I feel like most of these games are really short, and I feel like they could have been longer with some more added elements into it. And maybe making them all 3D honestly would have made them all benefited honestly, but honestly I think this game also has suffered from being too short as well, because I think that the final boss of this game is also very questionably short honestly. It could have had a second phase, but I guess the game is already has already um it feels like this game is just like this too short in my opinion honestly. It could have been longer if they had more levels honestly. And it could have been an expansion. It could have been easily. It would have been better if this one was more like was more just like breaking the rules. Honestly, I think this one. I feel like this game being a little bit linear kind of also makes breaking. I love breaking the rules, but I feel like that Shadow Showdown does a better job at being the game at the animation wise, and I think the gameplay is still. I think this game is a little bit weaker when it comes to gameplay compared to Breaking the Rules, but I feel like this game does quite enough to make it a good game, honestly. And I still think it's a really good game, honestly. And I think this game overall is a fun game that's fun for Fair Odd Parents fans, and I think it's a really good 3D platformer for people. And fun fact: the same people who made the Blitz games also made this game, Creature from the Krusty Krab, which is one of my favorite console games ever made. Right behind True for Square, of course. And also right below, True for Square is probably between Lights Camera Pants and the movie game overall. Actually, it's probably lower than Lights Camera Pants in my opinion. But anyway, I think that this game is overall fun. It has a lot of cool elements, a lot of cool story. I love the story. I love the gameplay. And overall, I think this is a charming Fairy Odd Parents game. I'm disappointed that they stopped doing Fairy Odd Parents games afterwards, because I think this franchise deserved more video games. But considering that Loud House also didn't have many video games and only had 2 mobile games, I feel like Nickelodeon games are kind of like licensed games based on shows for Nickelodeon shows are kind of dying down, honestly. Nowadays, it's just SpongeBob games now, and also some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle games, and so it's a Rugrats game. And I really wish more games, more franchising games get more games. Honestly, maybe if Game Mill Entertainment watches this video, then please give us a Fair Odd Parents game again. I would love to see that, or a Jimmy Neutron game, honestly, or Danny Phantom game. Please do, because I think a standalone games based on those shows would be a really cool thing to do, because instead of just always crossovers. So yeah, that that's basically Break Shadow Showdown. It's a really good game, and I recommend playing it. Okay, so next up is uh, Wins Club, Win X Club, Win X Club, basically. This game is number I think 6 on the list, and I remember playing this one on PS2, I believe, and I remember playing it on my dad's PS2. And I think that overall, this game is really fun. I think it's a really cool girl. I think it's a really cool game based for girls and dolls. And I think this game is overall fun. I think it's basically the Battle from Bikini Bottom of the Wins X Club series overall. It has a lot of fun gameplay, a lot of good story. I love the elements from the show. And overall, I think this one has a lot of charm in it, honestly. And as its first video game, I think this one probably is better than the other ones, honestly. Because I don't think this is the only 3D platforming one, honestly, which is kind of sad. But overall, I think this is a charming game, and I recommend playing it if you're a fan of this show overall. Next up is Barbie, the 12 Dancing Princesses for PS2, which is number 5 on the list. Like I said with the last game right now, I think this one also has a lot of charm in it, honestly. Such as all the other games also had charm in it, and writing wise too, that were based on the shows. I think this one has the best Barbie charm and writing to it, honestly. And this is based on a special too, so yeah, I'm noticing a pattern with some of these games is that they're based on specials or TV movies or movies that are based on these shows, honestly. But thankfully, I think my top four are actually no, top three or top two are actually based on original plots, or maybe they are. I'm not sure. Most of these games are kind of tie-ins to episodes overall. If I'm being honest, most of them feel like tie-ins to episodes or just original games that has the charm of each show overall, or even games that are based on episodes of the show of each show, I believe. So honestly, I think Barbie. I think this is also another charming 3D platformer. I think this one would have benefited more from being a little bit longer because I think the GBA version is a little bit longer than this, honestly. Or maybe it is, I'm not sure. I think the GBA version is also really good in my opinion, and so is the PC version. But I think this game is overall charming, fun, and I think this one has a lot of charm in it, and probably Barbie's best game ever. Up until a certain other game that really took that spot for me. Because Barbie has had made two recent games, and I think they both overtake this game overall. But we'll get there when we get there. We'll talk about my favorite modern games so far. My favorite new games overall. Spoilers, my number one would be Cosmic Shake of SpongeBob's Cosmic Shake, and number one would also be Titans of the Tide. Once I get that game, of course, because I'm waiting for that game. I'm waiting to get the game. Honestly, considering I bought it from GameStop like in July, and it still hasn't arrived yet, which is kind of crazy to think about. But I'll just wait until I get it though. As for right now, I'll just play some Mario 3D World. Ah, shoot. Okay, so it kind of died. At least I get the star at least. Shoot. So yeah, overall, I think this game is really fun. Anyway, I think this game is really good. I think it's a really good PS2 gem. And I think that I recommend playing this game if you're a fan of Win Winx Win Club. I think that's what it's called, Win Club. So yeah, overall really good game. I recommend playing. Actually, no, not Win game. Sorry, I meant the Barbie game. Sorry. I think the overall Barbie game is a 10 out of 10. Probably the best Barbie game out there when it comes to childhood wise. And I think that this game is overall charming. Overall good writing, overall good story. That's based on the episode, based on the special. And overall, I think this is a good Barbie tie-in game to the movie, honestly. So, if you guys are a fan of Barbie games, I think this game is a really good fit for that. So, yeah, that's a pretty good game, and I think let's move on to number 4. Number 4, Bratz. Number 4 is a Bratz game called Bratz Rock Angel. This game, man, this might be the best Bratz game out of the entire series. Yes, I know that sounds like Forever Diamond may be a good gem as well, but this one has open world and fully has collectibles. This one feels like the best. This feels like the Battle for Bikini Bottom of the Bratz series. Has a lot of charm for it. Has a lot of good writing. It's based on a good special, and it's overall a good tie-in to the actual special or movie. I believe. I'm not sure. I think it's a movie, TV movie. Overall, I enjoy Bratz as a franchise, and I think this game is a perfect example of what I mean by this. So yeah, overall, I enjoy this game. I hope you guys really like this game as well. And if you guys want, if I recommend, if I had to recommend this game to you, I say go play the GameCube version on the Wii if you have a Wii yourself. Like I said, I have a Wii myself, and I can play GameCube games on there with my GameCube controller. So you know what I mean. So thank you guys for thank you. So no, actually no, this is not the end of the video. I still have more games to talk about. Let's just get into the top two. So, as we have number 3 left though to talk about, which is also based on another special. My top 6 are based on episodes of the show that were either specials or either special movies that were based on the show franchises. So number 3 is Monster High 13 Wishes for the Wii. And I think this might be my favorite Monster High game when it comes to like childhood reasons. Because this game has a lot of charm, writing, and overall good graphics. Because I think most of these games look really good, honestly, for their platforms. Considering I'm playing the best version of them, honestly. Sure, some of them are some versions are weaker than others, but I think this one overall has a lot of good charm in it. This might be the best. This might be like the best. This might be the best Monster High game, and I think this one is based on a special as well, or TV movie, or movie in general. And overall, I think 13 Wishes is already a really good movie. It's probably my favorite Monster High movie, but the game itself might be better than the actual special or movie because it has a lot of charm, writing, and it has a lot of that Monster High vibes to it. And overall, I think this game is. I don't own this game anymore, like I said with some of the other games, but I think this one is a really good game and a really good gem for what it is. Honestly, it might be the best Monster High game when it comes to like second best Monster High game. I recommend playing this game if you have the Wii, honestly, or the Wii U version or DS version, because the DS version is also not bad either. So overall, I think this is a good game. Really good game, honestly. All versions are really good too, like the DS version, 3DS version too. Too bad it's not on other platforms like Xbox 360 or PS3 or PS4, but I guess beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Wow, I've been going on for 44 minutes. Wow. But don't worry, this video won't be over yet. We have 2 more games to talk about, which is my 2 childhood games I remember playing the most of, honestly. Yeah, sure, I played all these games back to back to back, but these 2 are the most special to me, honestly. And they're really good games, honestly, too. And they're both based on my 2 favorite franchises overall. which that being My Little Pony and SpongeBob SquarePants. Which number one would be Bound from Bikini Bottom, obviously, which I'll talk about that one later on. But we have to talk about the My Little Pony game Pinkie Pie's Party, which is also based on another special. I believe it's based on the Pinkie Pie special that was in 2008, I believe. Sure, this one is not a 3D platformer like the other games, or either an RPG either. This goes for a more party game aspect, and this might be my favorite party game out there, honestly. Because this one has a lot of charm, a lot of elements, and it feels like a cool game, honestly. And I think that mini games are really good in this game as well. I think the mini games are really fun, honestly. Actually, you know what? I have a hot take to say right now. This game might be the lightsaber pants of the My Little Pony franchise. I am not joking when I say that. This is basically lightsaber pants all over again. Because it has mini games, it has collectibles, it has like characters from the show. It feels like lightsaber pants all over again. But except on the DS now. Which, funny enough, Lightsaber Pants was supposed to be on DS because I heard there was originally supposed to be a DS version, but it got canceled later on in development, which is kind of sad because I would have actually liked to see a DS version be really cool, honestly. But my chances are that the DS version probably would have been like the GBA version, but on two separate screens, basically, two separate screens. Screens. Sorry if I keep saying screams. And overall, I think this game is really fun. I think this is like Lightsaber Pants all over again. You know, if this game was remade by like passionate developers, I would bet you money I would buy this game on day one, and I think this would have been the best My Little Pony experience out there. I am not joking when I say that. Honestly, this game is really fun. I have so much enjoyment playing this game, and I overall enjoy like this game a lot. This is better than the GB. This is better than even the GBA game. Not Rainbow. Runaway Rainbow. Honestly, which I know that's a really good game, but I think this one is way better than that one. Even though it uses the same graphics as that game too. This might be better than even the My Little Pony GF4 games, honestly, considering most of them are mobile games, which is pretty darn sad. Because console games were not dead by 2012. It's just Hasbro's decision of making only mobile games instead of console games. I'm still bitter about this too. Anyway, like how come GF5 had video games, but My Little Pony GF4 cannot have video games? It makes no sense to me. It makes no sense to me. But we'll talk about my favorite My Little Pony game overall in the next video, or a few videos from now. Which that being Maritime Bay Adventure. Yeah, I'm serious. This might be my favorite My Little Pony game out there, honestly. So many cool graphics, has good writing, has good tasks to do. Even though it's very short and probably my second favorite game out there right now when it comes to licensed games. But overall, this one is really good in my opinion, honestly. And overall, I do recommend playing this if you're a My Little Pony fan. So yeah, that's it for Pinkie Pie's Party. I overall enjoy this game more than the actual episode or special. I think it's a movie, I believe, like the other My Little Pony GF3 specials or movies. And overall, I just enjoy this game a lot. Honestly, I recommend playing it if you're a fan of My Little Pony overall. Just has everything. It just has everything I like about it. Honestly. And overall, I enjoy this game. Honestly. Like, I am dead serious when I say that these games really showed me that that not all licensed games are crap, honestly. And that they're not always all hit or miss, honestly. Before we get into number one, we have two honorable mentions, though. We have the Annoy Orange game Kitchen Carnate and Splatter Up, which are both games that are mobile games, though. But I don't count them as console games because I think that those two games are mobile games, I believe. So I do have memories of those two games specifically because I remember playing the heck out of these games. These were originally going to be on the list, but I feel like if I do include them, that would be breaking the rule considering most of them has to be on handhelds or consoles. And this is these are two mobile games, so it doesn't make sense to really put them as high as Battle for Bikini Bottom, in my opinion. So honestly, they would have been close to being really good if they were console games, but no, they're only exclusive to mobile games, so missed opportunity right there. So yeah, I think that's it for. And there's one more honorable mention I can mention right now, and that's the Simpsons Hit and Run game. Now this is not really a licensed game. I think this is not really like a kids game when it comes to licensed games, but this one counts because this one has like a lot of elements from the show itself. And I think that overall, it handles the show. It does do a lot of justice to the actual show. It has a lot of cool elements. It has a lot of cool stuff around it, and I overall enjoy the Simpsons Hit and Run game. It's a fun game that is fun to play. It's the best Simpsons game out there, and I overall enjoy this game. Another game I actually remember playing a vaguely of is probably the Family Guy game, Back to the Multiverse, which is another good game, honestly. The reason why I didn't include these two games is because they're not really kid-friendly games, honestly. They have a lot of swearing in them. They have a lot of swearing in them, so I don't really count them as, licensed games when it comes to, like, children games. My favorite childhood games has to be, like, games that I really like playing a lot of, and it has to be, like, games that are child-friendly and stuff. And also, it also means that it has to be console games and not mobile games as well. So Annoying Orange games are not included in this list, or Minion Rush either, which is a mobile game as well. And you're wondering why Toy Story 2, the video game, is not on this list, is because I have played it on my PS5 and I had a lot of fun with it, but I don't think it's the best licensed game out there, honestly. It's an honorable mention for sure, though. So yeah, I just overall enjoy. I think these honorable mentions would have been on the list if they were just more polished, honestly, and more longer and had more console games. Well, except for the Family Guy and Simpsons game, those games rock. Another honorable mention I would have put on this list so badly was My Little Pony Pocket Ponies, because this would have been tied with Pinkie Pie's Party as my favorite My Little Pony game out there. Because but this game is a mobile game, so I can't count it on the list, honestly. Because my rules of this list is that it has to be console games, handheld games, and that's it. And that's it. Like no PC games, no freaking mobile games, and that's it. That's just my rules, honestly. It's my list, so what do you expect? Now let's get into the final game of the video. You guys already knew this game was going to be on the list anyway, and that is Battle for Bikini Bottom. Yes, number one is Battle for Bikini Bottom. What has been... Honestly, what has not been said about this game overall? This is the best... This might be the best SpongeBob game to date when it comes to, like... Most people's minds. There is so many references to past episodes, and so many, like, elements from the show itself. And this might be my third favorite SpongeBob game overall. The reason why it's only third because I think that there's two other modern games that mostly took that spot for me. But we'll get there when we get there, though. Overall, I think Battle for Bikini Bottom is enjoyable. It might be the best licensed game back in 2003, honestly. And this might be my favorite childhood game out there, honestly. Because this one has a lot of charm, has a lot of cool elements, and I think this overall is a game I recommend playing if you're a fan of SpongeBob. And even if you're not a fan of SpongeBob, I think this game is really fun. I recommend playing it if you're a fan of SpongeBob, or even if you're not a fan of SpongeBob. I think you can see why people love this game though. So yeah, Battle for Bikini Bottom is one of the best fun games, and I can see why people love it. Honestly, it's one of the best fun games out there. For console wise, handheld wise, it would be true for Square DS, of course, because I think that game is the best fun game on handheld. And Atlantic SquarePants DS, of course. And Draw to Life Swan SquarePants Edition as well. Like, those games are just like peak fiction, honestly. Which I have them in my collection too, as well. So yeah, overall, I enjoy this game, honestly. Battle for King Bottom is one of the best fun games, and I recommend playing it if you're a fan of SpongeBob. So, yeah, this gets 11 out of 10, along with Pinkie Pie's Party, because these two games are like the perfect examples of what I mean by licensed games not being dead, honestly, or being crappy, honestly. And overall, I enjoy these two games the most out of any of the licensed games I ever played before. So thank you guys for hold on, let me end this video with my face on it. Overall, I think this game is fun, has a lot of cool elements, has a lot of cool content. Sure, this game is rushed because this game was like had content, and I'm so thankful we have dun 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 dun. This is why I'm thankful that we have Battle for Bikini Bottom rehydrated. Because if we didn't, hold up, let me try to get Battle for Bikini Bottom off the ground real quick. If we didn't have Battle for Bikini Bottom or the show itself, we would have not had Battle for Bikini Bottom rehydrated. So be thankful that this remake actually exists. Honestly, because like I said, if you're a fan of SpongeBob, I recommend both of these games. And even if you're not a fan of SpongeBob or don't watch the show often, please pick up this game. It's a really fun 3D platformer. It's fun, has creativity, has a lot of cool elements, and I just think that it's just the perfect SpongeBob game out there, honestly. Well, except for Cosmic Shake and the Tides of the Tide, but we'll get there when we get there. And as for the remake, I think this is the best remake I ever seen, honestly. Besides Mario 64 at DS, of course, because I think that one is a perfect remake as well. That has no flaws in it, except for the controls. And this may not be, these two games may not be perfect. Gale Force is my least favorite level in this game, and so is this one as well. And some of the controls in this game, this remake, are not very as good as the original. But overall, if you want to play Battle for Bikini Bottom, I recommend both versions, honestly. Both the original and the remake. Just don't play the GBA version or the PC version, honestly, of the original. So yeah. So yeah, that's my overall thoughts on these games. I think these games are the most important games to me, honestly. And overall, I think these games are just really fun games. I recommend playing them if you're a fan of each show. And overall, I think that these games are just really fun. So, and I think they have the good writing of the shows, the stories of the show, the humor of the show, references to the show. And I think that they all each present the franchises each well, honestly. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and I'll see you guys next time for a different review. So, yeah. And I'll talk about my favorite games right now, and some of them might be repeats, but I think there will be new games as well. So, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time, and Cartoon Retro Boys out.